Hey guys, welcome back everyone. I've been reading through all the comments on my past blogs, and so many of you have shared your own experiences about living in the Philippines. Some are shocking, some are frustrating, very frustrating, and some are downright unbelievable. Now, here is the thing. This is what we're going to do. A lot of these testimonies are heavy. They deal with corruption, they deal with broken systems, and really tough realities. But at the same time, I want us to challenge ourselves a little bit. Let's try to see if we can find the good in the bad because no place is perfect, but is it possible to take these hard lessons and find something useful in them? That's what we're going to find out. So let's start with the first comment from TV Basil. I moved to the Philippines in 2008. I got married, bought a property in my wife's name, and built apartments. My wife's mother stole the title from my office and worked with a to get a power of attorney by forging my and my wife's signature badly and faking the notarization. Then she mortgaged the property. I think the bank was complicit. And poof, my life savings were gone. It was stupid of me to trust those people, but my experience shows it can happen if you make the mistake of trusting anyone in this country. Yes, I talked to several lawyers about taking action. They all laughed. They said the case would take 20 years. To finish the story, my wife's mother was arrested. She scammed many other people. She bought a new car with a loan from Security Bank, then sold the car. But she bribed the police and walked away. This all happened in Bulacan, the corruption capital of the Philippines today. Any expat who goes there is immediately prey. As for me, I'm now marooned here because I can't afford to leave. Wow, let me just say that that's not just corruption. That is like a whole Netflix drama. And unfortunately, it's common here. Family betrayal mixed with, syndicates, accomplices. But I don't know about banks though. It's the first time I heard the bank, getting involved in shady activities like this. Because I know usually they are very strict, but in this case, they turned a blind eye. And yeah, law enforcement being part of the game is very, very, very common. Now, what's the good in the bad? It's hard to find. But maybe the lesson is this. In the Philippines, trust has to be earned 100 times over. You cannot, and I mean, cannot hand over your life savings to anyone, not even your family, not maybe even your wife from the Philippines. I don't know. Why would you marry someone you don't trust? This really bugs me a lot. Paperwork, titles, receipts, you guard them like your life depends on it. Because here it actually does. You lose it, it's like losing your life and starting over again, and no one is going to help you. Not even the law or the police, of course. Not even the police. Not even your family. You know why it's so easy for scammers to thrive here and they don't feel guilty about it? It's because there are literally no consequences. They can easily get away with it. Another one from John Southgate. I'm from the UK and been living here in Cebu City for a year now. It's so frustrating. Everything takes an age. From dealing with SRRV. SRRV is a retirement visa, to being served in coffee shops, restaurants, to waiting in line at the supermarkets. It all really grates after a while. I heard another blogger describe it as death by 8,000 cuts. I'm really unsure now as to whether I'll stay here. I was considering buying a condo, but now I'm so glad I didn't and would recommend to anyone to experience life here for a long time before considering it. My advice would be to rent and keep your money safe so you can be flexible. I'm off to Thailand and Vietnam for a few months and see how life feels there for comparison. I think that's actually smart because the truth is, the Philippines will test your patience every single day. It's not just about buying property, it's about living with systems that are slow, unorganized, and sometimes downright useless. The good and the bad, at least you found clarity in a year. Better to figure out early that this isn't the life you want than to sink millions into a condo and or land and regret it later. Renting gives you freedom indeed. And freedom is worth more than ownership. If ownership chains you to frustrations. From Imo till Sivad, I've been living in Sikihor for 14 and a half years. I've learned a lot of differences. I will say this. I will never use local workers if I want to build another house. I've been there. I've done that. The workmanship, though, can be hit or miss. Sometimes you find good, hardworking people. Very rare, though, especially in construction industry in the rural areas. Most often, you find people who do shortcuts, delays, or lack of skill. And it's not always about laziness. Sometimes it's about lack of training or resources. I have a question though. Would you rather hire a foreigner construction worker here in the Philippines, who know what they're doing? Because I know there are some foreigners who retired here or like who moved here and they made a construction business. I think I know one in Dumaguete. It's a Canadian guy who has a construction company in Dumaguete. So yeah, they will give you 100% good quality output, like good standard, but you'll pay double. Or hire local workers, you will pay a skin tax price, but still a lot cheaper than the foreign one, but the output is very bad. I am genuinely curious. I am curious, how are you gonna balance that? So yeah, the lesson here is if you want things done to Western standards, you either bring in your own crew from Manila, or even, I don't know, abroad, or like I said, maybe hire a foreigner here who is a construction worker, a tradie. Or if you can't afford that, then you stay on the site every single day and monitor the work. Otherwise, you'll be fixing mistakes for years. And that's the reality. From Papa Lolo, I think I am giving up and going back to the US. I'm sure a lot of people have done that. I wanted a shut-off valve for my house so I can change my water filter. The plumber put in 4 valves and none will turn off the water to the house. Huh? I applied for Social Security here in January. They finally sent me a notice last Thursday. It was processed and I would receive payment on the 17th. Turns out I will have to appeal as the amounts are not even close to correct and I never got the deposits. They take 2 weeks to respond emails and you can't get through calling on Tuesday or Thursday mornings, the only days you can call. Oh my goodness, it is so relatable. I want to go back to the US to resolve it, but they seem to have lost our passports. The LBC tracking number or the courier tracking number doesn't work. I am not sure I can take much more. The construction crew I hired have broken almost every tool I bought. Most of the contractors here in Leyte bribe people to get their credentials. Driving at night is the scariest thing I have ever done. More fun in the Philippines. Oh, wow. That is a lot. Just by reading, I'm already exhausted and frustrated. I mean, I get it. When even the smallest things like a shot of bulb or water turn into a nightmare, it wears you down. Add that to construction headaches and scary driving at night. And yeah, it makes sense. You're ready to call it quits. I mean, driving at night in the rural areas really are scary. Most of the streets, most of the main roads, provincial roads don't have light. And then there are so many potholes on the road. So it's really scary. The lesson here, sometimes the Philippines looks better as a vacation spot than a permanent move. From Major Ronald Mendo. I'm an American and I live and work in the Manila area of Philippines for 6 years. And there was a power outage every single day of those 6 years without fail. In Manila? I mean, what year is this? Do they still have power outages in Manila today? We never knew when the outage would occur or how long it would last. The government could have easily supplied us with that information, but they just weren't interested in doing so. One must remember that in the Philippines, the government does not serve the public. It's the other way around. That's true. In regard to corruption, everybody and everything is corrupt. That is also true. Nothing is on the up and up. Nothing is fair. No one is honest. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that I just met the wrong people because, after all, everyone knows that most people are honest, right? I mean, not really. I'm a Filipino and I've experienced all these things, the dishonesty and everything. And what do you want to say? That I just met, I just met the wrong people like every time? No. What a coincidence, right? So yeah, I believe that. Sorry, that's not the case at all in the Philippines. In the Philippines, this honesty is normal and it's not considered wrong. School teachers charge their students to take exams. Oh, I've experienced this as well. I was in elementary. Firefighters arrive at the scene of fires and refuse to even unpack their fire hoses until the home or business owner pays a fee. Really? I could go on all day, but I hope you get it. Favors are not free in the Philippines. People will often offer to do you favors, but each and every time, it's a scam. Like I say, nothing is ever on the up and up. There is no obligation to repay loans in the Philippines. Yeah, that is also true. Not only that, but it is shameful to ask for repayment of a loan, and thus it is never ever done. And if you know what's good for you, neither will you. Let me put it another way. It could be dangerous to your health if you try to buck the culture. Our wrong is not the wrong, and the same for right, good, and bad. Just keep your mouth shut and go along with the program. As a foreigner in the Philippines, you will very often be asked to lend or invest money. Yes, they will promise on their mother's grave and the Holy Bible to repay you. Yes, they will swear that they are not like other Filipinos. Yes, they will have tears in their eyes when they ask you, but they just won't make any attempt to repay you. Why should they? After all, they are under no obligation to do so, nor are they under any obligation to fulfill any agreement, deal, or promise. Indeed, you are in the wrong if you have any expectation of being repaid or treated fairly in any dealing. There are no consequences. That is true. We have a lot of laws, but the laws are not enforced here. So yeah, that's why I said scammers thrive very well here. For at least your first 2 years in the Philippines, you will be convinced that by some strange quirk of fate, you keep eating the bad apples in the barrel until one day your world comes crashing down on your head. And you suddenly realize that everyone is dishonest and you are prey to everyone you meet. Yes, everyone you meet in the Philippines will charm you to death with their 24/7 smiles. Much more than that, you will be firmly convinced that everyone you meet loves you due to those same smiles. Because that's the way it is in your culture. But that isn't the case at all in the Philippines, not even close. Those charming, radiant, loving smiles are no indication that someone likes you. In fact, the overwhelming number of cases, the majority of people you meet will not like you at all. And the only reason they stick to you like glue is to milk you. My leg is numb. But okay, when I read this comment, my first reaction was honestly just sadness because I feel like this person went through a lot of frustration. I'm going for a lot of frustration as well. That's why I can relate to your frustrations. This sounds like someone who stayed, long enough, experienced enough, and just got tired. And as a Filipino, I want to say this clearly. Some of the things, or most of the things that he mentioned, are not untrue. And I've seen them happen around me. Of course, I also know my limits. I can't fully understand how this feels from a foreigner's point of view because, this is my own country. I grew up here. I know how things work. Foreigners don't have that advantage. But there's something I want to add. Based on my own experience. When I went to other countries, I went to Europe this year. I haven't been to the US. I honestly never felt this, constant feeling of being taken advantage of. I didn't feel like I always had to be on guard. But here in my country, I feel that a lot, especially when I go to a new place or when, you know that people don't know you. They know that you're a tourist. They know that you're not local in the area. And that is crazy to say because I'm a Filipino. I should feel safe here and should feel relaxed and at ease here. Since I bought land, went through and still going through all the bureaucracy and the hiring and ongoing works, I encountered all kinds of, the systemic bureaucratic corruption. I encountered people trying to be friends to take advantage of me, people who promises and never stick with their word, people who just like want to milk you or your project, milk you dry. Look at me. Look at me. This is how I show up. This is how I look like. Is there any indication that I am wealthy? Because I'm a tourist and I don't speak their language? Yeah, they take advantage of that. And because of that, I changed really fast. It was not very long time ago since I bought land, but because of what I experienced with people, my attitude changed. I become more guarded. I no longer want to make friends, especially with locals. I became introvert actually. Now I always think people who are trying to be kind are opportunists. They're kind because they want to make friends so later on, they can try to borrow money and never pay or try to abuse the friendship. I don't make friends easily anymore, not like before. I don't smile as much anymore as well. I don't look at people the same way. Not because I'm angry, but because experience taught me to be careful and be bitter. I'm more bitter than ever in my life. When you show that you're kind, friendly, and easy to talk to, some people see that as an opportunity. They think you're an easy target. You're an easy target when you are nice and kind. So I came to the conclusion that some people don't really discriminate. They don't care who you are. If they see an opportunity to overprice you, they'll take it. If you don't know the price and you agree, then good for them. They make more money. That is the mindset. I don't agree though that everyone here is dishonest, but I do agree that this behavior exists a lot to people and it affects both foreigners and honest Filipinos. During the 6 years I lived in the Philippines, I knew a guy whose father was a friend of the governor of the province. And because of that, he was appointed as a provincial purchaser, meaning that everything bought for the province, from vehicles to school desks to erasures, went through his office. His first action upon being appointed was to create his own business, which coincidentally won every bid, every contract for everything purchased. Not for the lowest bid, but for the highest bid. When I asked him one day if he felt guilty for ripping off the taxpayers for many millions per year, he looked at me like I was crazy. For this is the normal and the natural way that things are done in the Philippines. And oh, by the way, Filipinos don't suffer from guilt no matter what they do. If they see an opportunity to make a lot of money in the situation, yes, they won't feel guilty about it. And everyone thinks that, oh yeah, it's normal, it's natural. This is the way in the Philippines. Why would I feel guilty? Other people are also doing it. This is describing a very specific type of corruption, and this is not random corruption, and it's not small bribes here and there. This is old style feudal corruption, the kind that has existed in the Philippines since the very beginning of its political structure and is still happening now. And this is the strongest kind of corruption that's happening now. But the Philippines is under a very, scrutiny. What is describing is not shocking to me at all. In the provinces, especially, politicians don't behave like public servants. They behave like landlords, kings, patrons. They control contracts, permits, jobs, favors, even police protection. If you are connected, life is easy. If you're not, everything becomes slower, everything becomes more expensive and more frustrating. And also it's not that problems disappear in the provinces. It's that they transform and often, sometimes get worse. Yes, the traffic's less. Yes, there's less noise and air pollution. Life looks slower and more peaceful and relaxing. But the same problems you have in big cities are still there, just amplified in different ways. People are slower, a lot slower. Bureaucracy is much, much worse. Inefficiency, oh, triple that. Offices open late, close early. You can't get a hold of anyone on the phone. They cancel the call on purpose, or it rings, but they will never answer your call. It's like sometimes it depends on their mood. If they're in a nice mood, they will answer your call. If not, they will not answer your call. And on top of that, you add something the city doesn't have as much: concentrated power. Because in the provinces, power is personal. One mayor, one governor, one family can block your life. Permits, contracts, utilities, even basic services don't move because of rules. They move because of relationships. Because I don't know, they probably don't work much there. They probably don't work much in the provinces. It's easy for them to control the people and the system in the far provinces because it's far. They behave like no one would try to challenge them. And this is why province life is only peaceful after you are done with everything. Now, after you build your house, after you're done with the papers, after you no longer need permits or signatures or approvals from government offices or from any offices, once you don't need anything from the system anymore, then yes, life becomes smooth and relaxing. But during the process, it's brutal. Bureaucracy mixed with personal interests, favoritism, and fear. And this is hard for everyone, not just foreigners, for us as well. Very. The difference is money. You have more money. If you have money, you can absorb corruption. You pay delays, you pay fixes, you pay middlemen. If you don't have money, you don't fight, you just accept. And that's what most Filipinos do. Not because they agree with it, but because resisting, it costs too much. If you are a white man, forget about this country. Why white man only? It is a country of thieves. They lie. You will lose all your money, get a broken heart, and possibly your life. I gave up on these people years ago. They will never get it together. They're hopeless. A benevolent dictator like Lee Kuan Yew could not help. Really, you think? If we have a leader like Lee Kuan Yew, will he not be able to change the Philippines like he did to Singapore? I mean, I'm sure 100%. It's a hard pill to swallow, but Singaporeans are a lot smarter. The Marcoses were dictators, but only helped their cronies. Let them rot in their own shithole. They love to throw their garbage everywhere. Even poor countries have no excuse for throwing their garbage everywhere. The whole place stinks. Have you seen the garbage? Every canal is full of garbage. But white man, why only white man though? The corruption, corruption here does not discriminate, even to us Filipinos. But yeah, worse experience for foreigners, maybe especially white people. That's a heavy take, but I get where it's coming from. A lot of foreigners do get chewed up and spit out here. Um, what's the good in the bad? Well, maybe the Philippines is not for everyone. It's not a fixer upper. If you can stomach the chaos, then leaving might actually be the best decision. Better to cut your losses than to lose your sanity. I advise the same to my fellow Filipinos. If they have means to leave, I encourage them to leave. Okay, this one is from Tire Mango. Hi, I was scammed by the land transportation officer 3 times within my first 3 months of being a resident. On one occasion, I had to put 10,000 pesos into a paper tissue and handed it over. Needless to say, I did not get a receipt for it. Corruption is endemic in the Philippines, unfortunately. Well, this comment is another good example, and again, it's not surprising. And this is not even a high level corruption. This is a street level institutional corruption. You know, the kind of corruption that happens like face to face, no receipt, quietly, no paperwork, no accountability. So what happened to him with the land transportation officer is very common. Even to us Filipinos, this happens, especially, of course, for foreigners, because, you know, the skin says it all. Your looks says how much money do you have. It's like that here in the Philippines. So when you're new, you don't know the system yet. You don't know what's legal, what's normal, what can be challenged. And that's exactly when the system takes advantage of you. Not officially, of course, personally. And this is where I want to clarify something most of the time. It's not even framed as a scam, it's framed as help, as speeding things up, as avoiding problems, as making things easier, because the system is intentionally slow, confusing, and inefficient. So paying becomes the shortcut. But also, guys, 500 pesos is enough. You give 10,000 pesos to them, that's jackpot for them. And yes, if you're a foreigner, you're an easy target. Accept that already. When you come to the Philippines or before coming to the Philippines, before planning, condition your mind, condition yourself. You are an easy target here in the Philippines. So yeah, if you look like you have money, you're expected to pay. If not, then you wait. And Filipinos know this, and most of them don't fight it. Just like I said earlier, not because we agree with it, but because challenging it usually leads nowhere and creates more problems. And it would cost us. So yeah, this isn't about bad individuals only. It's about system that rewards delay, rewards confusion and silence. And once you understand that, you also understand why people either adapt or pay or just give up. And I will teach you this. If you encounter this, if you happen to be in this situation, or if an officer stopped you, they are gonna give you a violation. And if you are sure that you don't have any violation, if you know the rules and you know that you did not violate any traffic rules, don't be scared, fight them. I mean, not physically, but threaten them. Third, if you have dash cam, it's better. If not, then turn on your hidden camera already, film them, threaten them that you are going to report them or that you are going to post that and you're going to expose them in social media. They are scared of that. If they are not honest workers, then they are going to let you go because they are scared of getting exposed. A lot of Filipinos already tried that and it works all the time. Only do that if you know and if you are sure that you don't have any violation. I saw a lot more stories like this, real stories, real frustrations from real people living here in the Philippines. And as you can see, the pattern is always the same. Corruption, incompetence, inefficiency, disappointment. I'm also really exhausted already of the system here. Literally everything that I do, there is this inefficiency and corruption altogether. And you cannot avoid it. Like sometimes you get frustrated on thinking about ways on how to avoid it. You cannot avoid the overpricing and the taking advantage of you. It's just you don't know how you can avoid it really. I wanted to give up a long time ago already, but I don't have a choice but to put up with these things because there is nowhere I can go back to. Not like it. I live here. This is the only place I belong to. This is the only place I can live. I can't just move to another country too, like most of you. First of all, my passport is very weak. Let's start there. Sometimes I'm thinking maybe I should just go to Europe, live there illegally until I get citizenship so I can have options in life. It's so unfair. But also, it's not as easy as saying it. It's easier said than done. Okay, I'm gonna go to Europe. I'm gonna stay there. After 2 years, I can get a citizenship. I'm sure it's not that easy as well. Anyways, lessons. Don't trust blindly. Don't rush into buying like what I did. Rent first. Keep your money safe. Most importantly, manage your expectations. Because at the end of the day, yes, you can find good in the bad, but only if you're willing to accept that the bad is always going to be part of the deal. And thank you so much, guys, for sharing your stories. I really appreciate that, sharing your experiences. And if you've got more, drop them in the comments below. I'll keep reading them. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time. Bye, guys.